Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Avalanche's price chart, and we are specifically going to go on some lower time frames and see what happened since we talked about AVAX in the previous video. But before we get into all that, I usually check the previous video in order to get an idea about what I should talk about now. And when I watched the previous AVAX video, I was like, wow, this is such a bearish video. So, maybe I should cheer you up a little bit and talk about the optimistic side of stuff, because in the mid to long term, nothing has been broken on this chart, which is, by the way, from Binance, which in it we are having these insane shadows. And even if you want to go according to this chart, if I just hide everything, as you can see in this chart, even we did not take the lowest low down here, about, let's say, $8.7. Why do we care about this? Because Elliot's wave suggests we are having, off of the lows, a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, followed by a correction down. And now, given the recent crashing event, I'm gonna say this correction is probably going to be a WXY in form of a flat and a zigzag. And I know right now you're going to scream at me, look, we are not really allowed to have an ABC expanded flat into our wave W in case of a flat and a zigzag. But guess what? I do like to be flexible with the rows a little bit. So if you don't like my analysis, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand it. However, I'm not really going to agree with you. Now, here's the situation. If you want to be extraordinarily optimistic in AVAX, then I guess you can say maybe this is 5 up into 1, this is correction for wave 2, and what's next? Fantastic move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And you can say, I don't know, maybe soon we are going to get a massive move into wave 3, and this correction is going to take some time. Maybe even it's going to be for the next bear market into 4 and then another move up into wave 5. Can this scenario happen? Yes. Is it absolutely realistic? I mean, it is kind of realistic, but there are some better scenarios now to consider. And if we would have gotten our move up from these areas, I think I would have still talked about the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave scenario that I showed you earlier. But now, maybe we should just consider having in this area 5 wave up, sure, but this time into a wave A, correction for wave B, and what's next? Yup, another move up into our ceiling. Now, here's the situation. This scenario and also the previous one, as you can see, one way or the other, they both are suggesting that we are going to see a good move on the upside, which in it, the bare minimum target is going to be taking the highest high in here, about $66. But I think we can actually go quite a bit higher than that. However, from that point moving forward, the plan according to each scenario is going to be different. This ABC count suggests that after having another great face up, we are going to witness a massive move down in order to get back to about these areas. I'm going to say about maybe the $10 region. The other account suggests, number one, this move is going to actually get extended quite a bit, and in it we are going to take the all-time high about, let's say, around $150, and we are probably going to go quite a bit higher than that. But after that move is over, we are just going to consolidate in here and get another move on the upside. The question is, which scenario should we go with? At that point, I honestly do not believe that it actually matters that much. Why? Because one way or the other, both of these scenarios do indicate we are going to get a move up. So, let's have this, and then when we get it, we are going to make new videos and see what might be the next likely move. For now, I think around the lows makes sense to be quite optimistic in the mid to long term, and if you do not care about the short term price action in Avalanche, okay? In like very short term, fair enough, maybe we are going to have some more chopping around. In the mid to long term, however, I think we are still looking quite bullish. Now, let's go on Coinbase's chart, and the reason that I like this chart is because in it, as you can see, we really do not have those insane shadows that we got in Binance, and I think this might be a better chart to analyze. And if you remember, the last time that we talked about Avalanche, we were right around these areas, and the idea was that odds are our move down is going to continue a little bit, and maybe these are like a series of 1-2s, generally suggesting this move is going to continue, and in it, we may end up taking this low in Coinbase's charts about, let's say, $17.2. And we said, even this thing is not really a given. And who knows, maybe this 5 wave down is going to get truncated. So what happened? We did continue our move down, But as you can see, excuse me, we still haven't taken the lows yet. Question is, do we have to though? Well, I think now I should change some counts a bit, and do not get me wrong, I still absolutely believe that this is a 5-wave down. Now, however, I'm going to argue that from this high, we are having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-wave down as well, a complete one and not a series of 1-2s that we talked about in the previous video. And by the way, if you are wondering, well, okay, isn't our supposedly wave 3 the smallest wave? The answer is probably not, because I think I measured that earlier. Let's just measure it from this point to about here and compare it to our wave 5. Is it smaller than wave 5? The answer is yes. Is it smaller than our wave 1? The answer, absolutely not. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is definitely allowed. Do not get it twisted. Followed by that, in here, what do we have? I think we have a correction structure, probably yeah, in form of a WXY, in form of a double zigzag, and this can be maybe another 5-wave on the downside. So technically in Avalanche, you might be able to argue that we are having off of this high complete subwaves for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, indicating, well, maybe the bottom is in. Do I like this scenario? I sort of kind of like this scenario. Why? Well, first things first, I'm not really a big fan of this scenario in like very, very short term, because this thing says that to about this point is the end of our wave 5, right? Well, here's a question. How exactly are you able to find a 5-wave? Are you going to say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It might be, do not get me wrong, but I think we can all agree the shape of it does actually look a bit odd. On the other hand, I do like this scenario because the overall structures, in my view, are actually going to be like this. However, in like very short term, I want to be open towards having maybe like one more move down in Avalanche in order to take this low about $18.4, but maybe go a bit lower around, let's say, $17.50 area. Now, having said that, maybe it's best to go on 5-minute time frame. So here's a question. If the bottom is truly in and I am wrong in like very short term, okay, what needs to happen for me to be able to flip bullish completely? I think you know the answer. You see, in terms of Elias waves, if you want to be bullish on any chart and say maybe we have hit the lows around this area, then okay, off of the lows low in here, then you have to be able to find a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This specific count is called an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5-wave, our wave 3 should not be the smallest wave. And in terms of the sub waves, I think you know it. We must have 5-wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5, and for wave 2 and 4, we can have different scenarios. Let's say, yeah, okay, ABC into wave 2 and possibly a WXY into wave 4. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is happening. And I think we can all agree that yes, we do have a 1, 2, and then probably wave 3 correction for 4, another move up to about the recent high. However, on a higher degree, I'm really hoping that this is going to be into a wave 1 and then correction for 2, and what should be next? Yep, another good move up into wave 3, 4, 5 in order to at least take this important high for the first target about $21 area. If I see something like this, fair enough, I am going to be a bit comfortable flipping bullish in Avalanche and call this point our final low with a decent amount of confidence. Right now though, I think it's just a bit of a waiting game, and if you do care about the short-term price action, then okay, in the next maybe 24 to about 48 hours, you want to see a consolidation pattern and then another move up followed by consolidation, another move on the upside. And by the time that we're going to be in here, I think it is going to be time for us to make new updates and see what might be the next likely move. So for now, just understand this. In my view, in Avalanche, the overall structures do look optimistic, and there's also a decent chance that in the short term the bottom is in, but right now we shouldn't be overwhelmingly bullish. Okay, let's just be a bit patient and wait and see, are we going to have this structure playing out or not? If we get it, fair enough. At that point, we can count on having some great moves on the upside and basically have a bit of a V-shaped recovery. And that, by the way, is still sort of kind of my primary case. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in AVAX's chart. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.